what did you feel when you went there for the first time? So what was your reaction? What you did? Your first time
My
experience.
first strip club? Oh
Yeah.
man.
Okay. Hello guys, welcome to Reactor File. I'm Harnoor and he's Carl.
Today we're going to be continuing our conversation about strip clubs here in the United States. I believe we left off with some do's and don'ts here. So you know what? It's hard for me to know like what the expectations are for foreign men traveling abroad. You know, like what they think a strip club is going to be or not going to be. I have no idea, so unless you have any direct questions, I'll just go ahead and start rambling about it. It's often the perception, I think, especially for, not well-traveled Middle Eastern men and South Asian men, that there are one of two extreme reactions from those kinds of guys the first time they walk into a strip club, which is typical of most younger men, but is seen as being inappropriate mostly just inappropriate. Mostly just inappropriate, which is it's either that they are way too handsy, way too aggressive, or way too anxious and distant and shy and reserved. So you want to be somewhere in the middle of those two things. Try to go in there as relaxed as possible. If you need to get a little bit of a buzz beforehand, I mean, that's what alcohol is for. It's served mankind for many generations to this exact end. You know, it's important to remember that the women in general are professionals. Even if they're young, they've probably been working in this industry for some time. And the guys that are there, or anybody else who's there, the ladies, as we talked about in the first video, you know what? Everybody's just trying to have a nice, relaxed time. So don't be the guy that's in there with some kind of like bizarre agenda or trying to make a scene or feel like everybody's paying attention to you. Just remember that it's supposed to be entertaining, it's supposed to be fun, and it's supposed to be relaxed. Okay. One of the things that I see a lot, and I don't want to sound prejudiced, but it often does come from South Asian men and Middle Eastern men, is a tendency to like. Although it is certainly not reserved, because I do have a Russian buddy who like also did this, which is like bizarre to me. But okay, don't go in there asking strippers their life story or like trying to get to know them like in anything more than a casual way. Okay, I'll draw this analogy. Okay, you're not gonna go into a McDonald's and take a shit on the floor and like order all kinds of crazy shit off menu, because you don't want to make the people who are working there have any harder of a time at their job than they already do. It's just inconsiderate. So, strippers are professional. They're professional entertainers. Okay, like part of not the dancers per se, but something that you'll notice is that there are also periods of time where strippers will just walk around on the floor trying to get to know you, because they're trying to approach you for extra services, not prostitution, but extra things like private dances and lap dances and stuff like that. So they will often circle around the bar and try to get to know you, and they'll approach you and try to be friendly with you. This is not an invitation to interrogate them about their life story or to ramble on about your life story. Okay, this is purely an extension of the entertainment that they're providing. Okay, and it's fine to engage in casual conversation, and in many ways it's expected for a cursory sort of look into your private life, where you're from, what your name is, what your interests are, and maybe even for her to reveal something personal about herself. Whether or not it's true is irrelevant. It's like like, oh yeah, my name is Sparkles. Like, although I did actually meet a girl that was named that one time, but that's probably just an off. That's just a one-off. This is not, her name is not really Champagne or whatever. Just take it for what it's worth. Okay, don't try to like save her. I can't tell you how many times I've seen this. Like, don't be that guy that's trying to like save her from the lifestyle and this and that. That girl is at work. Okay, she's an entertainer by trade, and you're making her job harder than it has to be right now. Okay, she wants to get in, get out, and get her money. Let her deal with her life when she goes home, and you deal with your life. This is not an opportunity to, be her father or her priest. Okay, this is not the time or place. Okay, you go in there. She has her reasons for being there, and so do you. So that's definitely the number one most important thing that I can't tell you like how annoying it is to be the wingman and see this kind of thing go on. Like it's happened to me more than once, and it is deeply frustrating.
Yeah.
It's just rude.
Yeah.
It's just rude. It's inconsiderate. So moving on to the next most important pro tip subject, which is certainly confusing even for people who live here.
Wow.
Okay. Can you touch the strippers?
I think no.
It's a question mark. It's a big question mark, and it's a question mark for a reason. Okay, it's a question mark for a reason because the short answer is yes.
Oh,
yes. The short answer is yes. You can touch the strippers, but the reason why there's a long answer, which is no, is because strippers and strip clubs want to reserve the right to tell you that you're taking it too far. Okay, it's designed like this for a reason. Okay, I'm sure that there are probably laws about this depending on the state that you're in. Okay, in my experience, those don't fucking matter. Okay, you know what? The strip clubs bring in generally lots of money for the cities. They're not always the most highly regarded establishments, but you know what? There's a famous from a very there's a saying from a very famous saint actually in the Catholic Church, St. Thomas Aquinas, one of my personal favorites, that goes, a city without a brothel is like a palace without a sewer. Okay, this is one of my most favorite quotes from St. Aquinas, and the reason why that's relevant to this discussion is because strip clubs are a necessary place for these kinds of things to happen. Okay, it's like an accepted evil, if you will. I don't think it's evil, but there are certainly people who do. But it's tolerated, and for that reason, strip clubs need to be allowed to tell the people that go there that it's okay. As long as you're cool, it's basically okay to do things that may potentially be outside of the realm of what our rules generally state, because we like you and you spend money here, and because you behave yourself. But if you don't spend money here and you don't come here frequently, or you're just an out-of-hand individual and we don't like you, or whatever the reason is, they want to be able to say, this is the reason why we're kicking them out. It's because they were touching the strippers, and as everybody knows, you can't touch the strippers. Let me put something into perspective. Oh, go ahead. You have a question?
So, can they be thrown out of the strip club if they misbehave, or can they be jailed, or
Well, you know what? That's a long and complicated question, but the short answer is both. Yeah.
Wow.
Both. So, strippers are still people, just like everybody else. And technically, if you touch somebody without their permission, that's assault in the United States. I mean, that is potentially a crime. I don't know how it works in other countries, but here in the United States, part of the prosecution of any crime is the accuser's willingness to press charges, quote unquote, which basically means if the victim doesn't feel like it's worth it to go through all the court and all that stuff, then they can just not press charges, so you won't be convicted of a crime. But that potential is there. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that potential is there. Is it actually going to happen? Probably not, because look, if you've ever worked at a nightclub, which I have, it's like this kind of thing happens every day. I mean, not a strip club, but I'm sure it's worse at a strip club. But if you've worked in any sort of nightlife environment ever, the cops get called all the time. I mean, it's just like every day, and the cops, and they're there every week, and it's just the same thing all the time. People getting out of hand, And honestly, it happens so frequently, and normally it's just like, you know what, that's just part of the business. You know what I mean? It's part of the business. People are going to get thrown out, and they're going to be butthurt about the fact that they got thrown out, and like, oh, I bought a bottle and this and that, and the cops are going to come, and they don't give a shit, and nobody cares. But but is that potential there? Yeah, I mean, if you act out of hand in a serious enough way, that potential is there. Let's talk about this element of the touching thing for a second, like a little bit more, because this is very important. There's something called a lap dance in a strip club. I mean, I assume that word is known.
Yeah.
Basically, what that means is you are in a private room with the stripper, and she is essentially dancing in your lap. In theory, right? Like, according to the rules, whether they're written or not, in theory, you're not supposed to touch the strippers while this is happening. Nobody really thinks that that's what's happening. Okay, like let's just be real. Let's just be real for a second. Stripping is one step below prostitution. Okay, It is. I mean, so you are basically going as far as you can go without her touching your penis. Like that's. I mean, that's basically what it comes down to. So depending on the establishment, I assume you have to have some level of maturity as your own person to gauge whether she is comfortable with you enough that she will let you touch her, and to what extent will she let you touch her. I mean, I wouldn't like grab a handful, but if you just want to, my wife is going to see this. I would not grab a handful of titty or a handful of ass, but if you want to just gently brush her side or pull her in a little bit closer to you, you know what I mean? It's the kind of thing where you just have to have the emotional maturity as a man to gauge what is okay and what is not okay. And if you get the sense that she is not comfortable with you, you have probably done something really fucking wrong, because she is a professional entertainer. So just, it's like how far do you really have to go to get a stripper to be mad at you? Depending on how old she is. I mean, the younger ones are probably more likely to get upset just because they lack experience, and who knows why they're there. But like, if you get like a stripper in her mid-20s or even early 30s to get pissed off at you, I mean, you've done something horrendous. I don't know what it was, but you're wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but you did something seriously wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, these women are professional entertainers. So, yeah, the short answer is yes. It's okay to touch the strippers a little bit. Okay, but don't go crazy.
I have another question. What did you feel when you went there for the first time? So what was your reaction? What you did? Your first time experience.
First strip club? Oh,
yeah.
Man. God. Okay, my first strip club, I think I was like 18 or 19. This was in like Newark, New Jersey, which is like a questionable neighborhood. And it was way more questionable 10 years ago than it is now. I was at like basically like a dive bar with half naked women walking around. None of them were attractive. The drinks were cheap. It was a very dark, and I don't know, it was probably like if we're doing it in meters, it was probably like a 5x5 meter room with like a bar in the middle. It's just a very, very dirty, sketchy place, and we were buying beers, so.
So that's pretty much it for today. I hope if you're going for the first time, this video might help you. And so that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you guys in the next one.
Namaste.
Goodbye. First of all, tell us about your experience in strip clubs. Like the best moments you had in a strip club.
We're not going to do that because I'm married. We're not having that conversation.
Oh, wow.
We're not having this conversation because I'm married now. Okay, or
Okay, sure.
All right. My wife will eventually see these videos, and you better believe that this is going to be one of the ones that she loves. You better believe it.
Yeah. So they don't give food for free? I mean, it's so expensive, like
They
80.
don't give food for free. What are you talking about? Food for free?
They don't give food?
Why would they give you food?
Oh.
What do you mean food?
I know they
What the fuck? What is this? What is this? Your grandma's Thanksgiving dinner? What? Free food? What are you talking about?
Yep. And do you know the biggest strip club in the South is close to Georgia Tech? It's right next there, next to Georgia Tech. I go there. I mean, I, I mean, hold on,
Is
hold
mom
on.
listening? Is
No, no,
mom
no.
listening?
I mean, I go to Publix near to Georgia Tech, and
Was
the
it
strip
called
club.
Golden something? Is it Golden something?
No, it's okay. I forgot the name. It's like Home something.
What's it called?
The Cheetah.
The Cheetah?
Yeah.
I haven't heard of it. I haven't really gone to strip clubs down here as much. I mean, I'm married now, so it's a little bit different. I have been. There's one called the Dollhouse, which I've been to. Sorry, it's not that great,
Oh.
but it's it's good enough. It's good enough. All right.